Okay, everybody, here's our next set of distortions. We're going to find them under filter. As you can see up here, I'm highlighting it right up here. If you click down, you're going to go down and you're going to see distort. There is a whole bunch of them. Displace pinch, you can read the rest, polar coordinates, ripple shear, sphere, twirl, wave, and zigzag. Displace, I am not the best at, so I am going to just take a step back from that one, and we're going to first go to pinch, okay? And you're going to realize that these are all really good, and they all have specific things to do. You can use them on top of each other by all means, but don't expect to get the I guess the output you're looking for, because when you put one effect or filter on top of another filter on top of another filter, sometimes it gets a little wonky. So don't be disappointed. Just keep trying. Okay. So we go to pinch. Whoop. We went to polar. Cancel. We went a little too aggressively with that click. I'm so sorry. And we're going to go to pinch. You're going to notice in PhotoP, actually, it happens on the actual page. It does not happen. It happens here in this small little other box that pops up. Now, it's showing just a very small part of it. To change that, off in the bottom right down here, you can just come back and here minus. And notice you can already see what's happening. You see that it's being actually pinched in the middle. And you'll see this grid here in the bottom right-hand corner. You can see that actually it is a square, or it's a square grid. And if I go back to 0, you'll see, getting there, that it's almost perfect. It's not 0. I guess you could actually put the number and hit enter. Oh, shoot. Mr. Moran just made a mistake, but that's part of the course, so you can giggle with me by all means. Oh, goodness. So then what will happen is, let's go back here to distort and pinch. As you can see, it's 0. Going to come back, make it a little bit more. It looks normal. When I go to the right, and everything is going to be to the right, is going to, do the pinch. And notice you can see the grid changing as I move it down, and you can see it pinch more and more and more. So it looks really nice there. If I go the opposite direction past and I go to a minus number, notice it's bloating. It's getting bigger. So it does the opposite of what it says there also. So I'm going to actually go to spherize, which means I'm going to make it round like this. And notice you can see the sphere here. And it will do the opposite when I do it too. So you have kind of 2 in 1. And you got to kind of sometimes remember that. But, that's something you just want to put in the back of your brain, okay? So that's the first one, pinch. And the second one is we're going to come here. We're going to go to our filters, distort again. And I'm going to go through this. It's called polar coordinates. And you'll see it says rectangle to polar, or it says polar to the rectangle. It's a little goofy. I'm okay with it. You're going to notice it. And you're going to notice how this wraps around. It looks like the polar end. This rectangle wraps around the polar end. And then on the opposite, it's going to be the polar wrapping around the rectangle. I'm just going to click it. And it comes up something really funky like that. So it is wonky, and on certain things it's just not going to work. But you have a good idea what it is all about. I don't use this one too often. I'm not saying it's not good, but I don't use it too often. Okay, so just a little FYI. Then we have our third one, and again, keep going down. I'm going to say it again. Filter, distort, so it sticks in your brain. We have ripple. Now, ripple, you can actually see, and I want to stay close on this one, on how it does. Now, there's a couple of things you want to do. You have different sizes of ripple. You have medium, small, and large. Of course, large is much better. It gives it more of that crazy effect. But if you want something simple, so it's just like shimmering in the heat, you could do something like this. And of course, the more you go, you can see it get really, really crazy. It actually even looks like kind of hatching at the end. So that's at $9.99. Again, we can go to minus, and then it actually does the opposite. If you go quickly, you can see that it goes the opposite of it, and you go minus $9.99. So it's pretty cool. If we do large, let's go with a large, and I'm just going to kind of pull this back, and it just kind of, like if you're looking on a hot day down the road, you feel that you see, so you see a car going, you just see how it just kind of is like a mirage of some sort, or it looks like it's just wavy. This is one of those kind of feels for it, okay? So that's just how it goes. And again, I can go even worse. Again, I'm going to tell you this and preface this for the piece that you're doing. I would like to recognize most things that you put in there and you distort, because they could have some form of symbolism. So I'm not going to say I don't want you to distort so much that you can't see it. But again, this is just ripple. Let's crank that down. I know you're saying it to yourself. Filter, distort, and we're going to go to shear. Shear is pretty cool. I do like this one. You can notice that you have it up here in the picture down here. You can see that this has already been sheared. And if I put way across, it kind of looks pretty cool. I can do the top and I can do the bottom. So just think I could leave it here in the middle. But I'm just going to show you how it looks like when it goes across like this. And I think this is kind of neat. Notice there's two things. It says undefined areas. It's a wraparound or if it's a repeat edge pixel. So notice whatever happens over here on the right-hand side is coming over on the opposite side of the page, which I think is kind of neat. Well thought out. If you don't want that, you just want it to kind of fall off the edge, you just click the opposite one and notice it falls off the edge. So you have both things you can use. It's just a matter of just clicking this one button here and there. And as you can see, it only goes left and right on the bottom and vice versa up here, and I can go opposite direction by all means. Really simple, very intuitive. You have no problem with that. We're almost done. This one's looking pretty good. Filter, distort, and now we're going to spherize. We talked about this. Notice it looks just like this right down here looks just like pinch, but with a minus. Notice the amount is 100, and I'm going to come back here, and you can see it's really, really bloated, and it works out pretty well. But I'm going to go back to this one in 1 second. I'm just going to kind of go cancel. We're going to come here, and we're just going to kind of put a little bit of a box around here. Make it a little bit less than that. Let's go select. We're going to go to transform selection. Bring this down just a little bit because I don't want those edges in there. Let's bring it up a little bit. Looks good. Hit enter. All right, so now we have a selection here. Again, we know our marquee. Whatever's inside the marquee is a workable space. Whatever's outside is not. Can I put this filter just on something in marquee? You should know the answer, and I'm expecting you to say it. It's a yes. So let's go to spheres, spherize. Notice it is just on the United States Postal Service. You can't see anything out here. So I can distort specific things inside, maybe eyes, a nose on a face, or something like that. You can use this. You don't have to use the shapes or the marquee tool. You can use a lasso and make it an organic form, or whatever you would like, as long as it knows anything inside the marquee will have this distortion on only. Okay, so just another idea for thought. So let's go cancel out of this. I just wanted to show you that one, and it works with all of them. Any one of these distortions, it'll work for. Let's go select, deselect. Let's get rid of that. Let's go to the next one. We're almost done with this one. This will probably be the longest one I possibly do. We're going to go to twirl. Twirl works this way. As you can see, it's already been twirling here. By here, it's just you get your X and Y axis. You're going to literally just turn it. Let's come by here, and you can see it being warped. Now, this is more nice and easy. And notice it is turning it's turning clockwise. So if I go the opposite direction, it's counterclockwise. So remember that also, okay? And it starts at 50, and that's what it was, but it can get pretty, pretty nasty where you can't even understand what it is, and you can see it here. But again, if that's the effect you're looking for, it definitely looks like that way, okay? So real easy. Again, everything seems to be a number you can type in or a slide tool. You also have the photograph right here that you can see it happening, or you actually see the grid depending on what you're looking for. All right, here's the next one is wave. This one is pretty cool. I was messing with this one earlier, so these are a little off, but you're gonna notice I can't see this that well. And it's a little difficult. Sometimes I have to go back and say okay and see what it looks like and how it is. And I'm going to do that a couple times here. But there's 3 types of it. We're going to first talk about number of generators. It's up to you. I'm leaving it at 5. I think it gives me a nice effect. If you want to mess around with it, and you will have playtime, you will put more in there. You have your wavelengths. You see you have your maximum of 65. That's your bottom. And notice it goes pretty heavy duty. And then this is your minimum. Okay. If the minimum moves, I'm going to go 2 to 1, I can do 2 to 1 or 3 to 1. If the minimum moves, notice your actual maximum moves too, and it's only one piece. It's only one difference. So remember that. Now the first thing is same thing with the amplitude. If I move it, it moves the same way. And as you can see my picture, it's turning super trippy. Just remember that and just watch how these go. And I'm just going to leave this down here, these wavelengths, leave it like this. The wavelength, as you can see, it's how far out it goes. And notice the more I do, the higher the wavelength, the more out it comes out. The more it looks furry. And then the amplitude is definitely stretches out even more. Here's our scale. It looks great. We can see this down here on the bottom. It says wrap around or repeat edge off the end. It's kind of like when we did the shear tool. You can wrap around to the other side if you'd like to. But right now I'm not going to do it. Something's right in the middle. But the thing is, it's right here to the OK button. It's called 3 types. You have sine, you have triangle, and you have square. I have square on right now. So if I hit OK, everything seems to be very much a square. And if I get close to it, notice there's all different kinds of squares. As we said, we have a 5 generator, so it's generated 5 or 6 different types. I'm messing with the wavelength and the amplitude. So this is how it turns out. So it has a sharp, jagged edge, but it's a boxed off edge. It's a square edge. So Control Z, let me go back and let's go to the next one. And these are definitely things that you're going to want to have to try with and things like that. So this is why this one's so long, because the actual wave is pretty cool. So let's go to sine. Sine is more like waves or wavelengths. So it goes up and down, and it's curved, okay? So if I do it, I'm just going to leave it as is. I'm going to say okay. And notice you can see the wavelengths. It goes soft, subtle waves, no harsh edges. It actually looks like, there's all kinds of things. I'm thinking of Wayne's World where they're going doodle-doo, 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 and the screen just kind of waves out like that. But I'm dating myself, and that's why I'm laughing. A bad '90s movie, Wayne's World. I recommend it. It's on my top 10 list. Silly but funny. I digress. And I hope that's making you laugh, people. We need a little bit of laughter. And the last one is going to be triangles. And of course, you're going to know what it is. You're going to know that instead of it being sine, where it's nice and soft and wavy, it's triangles. You can see them. They're harsher edges. It's a little bit more closer together, but you can mess with those. And those points can actually, if you mess with the wavelength and amplitude, get very, very sharp. And you just have a bunch of triangles. So there it is with wave. I wanted to get that over with really quick. I know it took a little bit longer. We got a few more. I promise you this will be the longest one I ever make. Where noise, where distortion. We also have zigzag. And zigzag, as you're going to see, I was messing with this one big time. You're going to see that my grid is actually pretty much straight out. And and here's how I was thinking about how I was going to present this. It's like dropping a rock into a pond of still water. In the middle, you're going to have the rock that hits, and that's going to send out waves. It's going to literally send out, the circles that get bigger and bigger and bigger. But yet, that's just one of the things. Okay, so here's my ridges. Oh, sorry, it's going to be my amount. -2. Notice, you see how I got one circle here, 2 circles here. I'm going to keep my ridges low. And the more I do the amount, the more ridges. You can see how it's more here and more here and more here. And I'm looking at the grid on the bottom right-hand corner. You'll see it more and more. And the more ridges I put in, notice how my piece now is actually moving more and more. And the higher things go up, you can see it looks like the drop in the middle is more aggressive and more violent. And as you can see, it's the same thing in here. And it looks like there's a circle in the middle. And I'm looking at my picture now in the middle here, and it just keeps going, shooting out and shooting out. But without just rippling out, it also has waves. So you're taking those waves, those ripples that go out, they're getting aggressive and more aggressive. That's the only way I can really have you visualize it without actually playing it with that right here. And you can see it down here. It says style right here is the pond ripples. So that's one of the other things. You have other ones out from center or around from center. So you can manipulate those and notice how this totally changes right here. Also, my grid I'm pointing at, and you can see the difference between them all. So there's some really, really cool things. This one, again, is around the center, and you can see it spiraling out, and it's pretty cool. Notice the ridges are less, so it's not as much, but you can see how it is. And this will look familiar like twist. And look at how the ridges come on. And then I don't have to do as many as the amount, and it doesn't have to be that much, or I can get really aggressive and change it. So those are the 3 things here, the 3 styles. So as you saw, I was trying to do the pond ripples and see how aggressive they are to that. But that's how this works. This is distortion. Yes, I've rambled on long enough, please bear with me. And just, how every once in a while I go on my tangents. It's just like class. I'm not going to change it. It may be e-learning, but I'm teaching just like I normally do. Guys, enjoy the day. It's still sunny out tonight, and just get outside and just enjoy that sun. Take care, everybody.